Hey Naxers, welcome to the ending video. And today, for the ending video, we're going to connect patterns to rules, rules to graphs, graphs to patterns. We're going to connect all that mumbo jumbo so that we can make some more connections on our web that we're going to talk about tomorrow. So, this is the big C pattern. We've seen this a bunch. I don't think I need to reiterate a lot about it, but we're going to use it today to find a graph directly from a pattern, and then to find the rule from that graph, just to kind of summarize everything that we learned today. So this is the big C pattern. This is the rule from the big C pattern, right? My growth is 6, and I begin with 3 tiles. So my rule is y equals 6x plus 3. Now I want to show you something I messed up on earlier, because I was doing this earlier, and I made a really tiny graph. And I tried to count by 5s, and although it is somewhat accurate, the problem is that I have kind of put my dots somewhat randomly in the middle of boxes. So we're going to graph a better graph that is not so tiny, and I just want to show you this as a teachers make mistakes too, and please don't make your graphs so tiny. Okay. So let's start with a blank piece of graph paper. And boom. If you guys want to do this with me, it'd be super cool. Okay. So, first things first, I need to figure out, and which I didn't do on the last one I did, is how many tiles, or how far up I need to go. So if x equals figure number, right, in our equation here, then y equals number of tiles. Those are the two things we work with the tile patterns, figure number and number of tiles. And so the problem with this one is that since my y is representing my number of tiles, I need to have enough boxes going up that I can use, I can go all the way up to the number of tiles I have. Problem is, I had 27 tiles and I did not have 27 boxes. So we're not going to do that again. So I start with 3 tiles and 0, but by the time I get to figure 4, I have 27 tiles, and I did not account for that in my last one, so we're going to account for that today. Also, just to point out, my figure number goes from 0 to 4, which means that my x-axis only has to go over 4. That's it. So let's make our y-axis nice and long. Long, 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 long. Let's count this really fast. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24. Not quite, but I think we can still make it work. Let's count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Okay, I'm going to count by 2s, I think, because I'm not sure I have enough space to do 27 tiles. So here we go. Okay, so here is my graph that I'm starting out with. Remember to put your arrows to tell me and everyone that looks at your graph that your graph just keeps going to oblivion. Now, I'm really going to stress to you guys that you guys number your axes, and I'll explain why. I know it's tempting on graph paper not to number. The problem is that today, especially, I'm going to count by 2s because I don't have enough room to go to 27 and still have it in camera view. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to count by 2s going up. If I'm counting by 2s, you don't want to have to remember that. Not to mention, anyone that looks at your graph is going to assume you're counting by 1s because you didn't number. And we talked about this on a complete graph. If you don't number, I don't know what you're counting by, and that's an issue. So we're going to number today. I'm using a pen, which is nice and tiny, because the tinier your numbers, the easier it is to read. So I'm counting by 2s going up. You guys can count by whatever you want. I would recommend keeping it at an even number or 5, just because those are the ones that are easiest. Obviously, I'm going to be a little bit bigger than I need, and that's totally okay. I always say bigger is better than smaller. Like, I'm going to go all the way up to 40. Now, here's the thing. With the consistent numbering, if I count by 2s going up, I have to count by 2s going down. I can't all of a sudden switch to 1s. So this needs to be 2s going all the way down. Okay, consistent. Now, I am consistent on my y-axis, and that's important. It does not mean that my x-axis has to count by 2s as well. I'm actually going to count, I'm going to say that every 3 boxes is, actually let's do every 2 boxes is 1. Another thing I've noticed watching you guys number graphs is you take the graph paper and you put the number right in the middle. Problem with that is, which line goes to the number? That's confusing. So to avoid confusion, put the number right on the line. There you go. And then I have to keep that same numbering scheme on this side. So every 2 boxes is 1. And there you go. I have my graph. It has its axes labeled. It is numbered consistently. Okay, I haven't skipped any numbers. I've kept the same number theme going. So I've counted by 2s all the way up and down, and every 2 boxes is 1 on my x-axis. So consistent numbering, we're doing good. So the next step we're going to do is I'm going to go directly from a pattern to a graph. And the way you do that is we start with figure 0. So remember that this is the origin. This is the middle, it's 0. It's always 0, always will be 0. And we talked about in the first video how anything with a 0 in its coordinate is going to end up on an axis. In this case, this one's going to end up on the y-axis because my x is 0, so I'm not going to go anywhere. But my y is 3, so I need to go up 3. So I'm going to go right in the middle. Hope you guys can see that dot. It's right there, right in the middle. Okay, my next one, we're adding 6 tiles, so my next one is 1, 9. So I'm going to go over 1, and then I'm going to go up 9, which is going to put me in the middle again. On to number 2, we're going to add 6 tiles again, so 2, 15. So go over 2, then go up to about 15, which is in the middle again. And then 3, trying to show you guys both at the same time. 3, we're going to add 3 tiles again, which is going to put us at 21. So over to 3, and then up to 21, right in the middle. And then lastly, figure 4 is 4. If we add 6 tiles, it's 27. So go over to 4, and then all the way up to 27. Okay. So that is how you go from a pattern to a graph. No middle room, no table. Nothing in the middle. Then you're going to take a straight edge. This is my straight edge. Okay. I'd recommend using a ID card for you guys. Very handy. They got me all the way through college. It's a trick I picked up and I am passing on to you. Okay. Connect the dots. Remember that your line needs to go all the way to the edges. Did I go all the way to the edge? No, I didn't go all the way to the edge. So let's extend this up a little further. Now I have gone all the way to the edge. Now the cool part about the graph is that I stopped at figure 4, correct? But now I could find figure 6. Looks like figure 6 should be about 33 tiles. And figure 8, if we follow it all the way up, figure 8 should be about 39 tiles. So that's kind of cool. Okay. Now that we've done this, now we're going to make a rule from this graph, just a bit of extra practice. So make a growth triangle. Choose any 2 dots you want. It's really up to you. I'm just going to choose the one in the middle. I like to do that. So we know that 2 is at 15 and that 3 is at 21. From here to here, I have covered 1. So my run is 1. My rise is 15 to 21, which you guys should know by now is 6. Okay, so it looks like my rise over run is equal to 6 over 1. And 6 divided by 1 is just 6. So that's my growth. M equals 6. Then remember, we take our line, we follow it, follow it, follow it, follow it, follow it all the way down to where it crosses the y-axis. So that means that my y-intercept, or my beginning, is equal to 3. Now, is that consistent with the rule we found for the big C pattern? Oh no, I can't overlap them. So the growth was 6, beginning was 3, and on here, growth is 6, beginning is 3. Perfect, we did it. So the rule for this is 6x plus 3. Okay, if you have any questions at all on this, please come ask, because this is a really big thing. And by the time I get to chapter 5, I'm going to expect that you're good at this, and I'm going to just be like throwing graphs at you. So please let me know if you are having trouble with finding the rule from a graph. Have a good day, everybody.